The opinions expressed on Tomahawk Talk do not reflect those of WVFS Tallahassee.
Everyone has hung up their soccer jerseys for the next 4 years. FSU football has yet to slow its free fall, and America's pastime is entering the second half of the season. All of that and more to come tonight as we welcome you into another episode of Tomahawk Talk. I'm your host, Gia Ciaccio, joined by my co-host, Cole Kruger, as well as our panelists, Andrew Witherspoon, Matty Ice, and Trey Pope. We will not be taking your calls because we are again out of the studio, so be sure to comment on our YouTube and socials to give us your thoughts. All right, the World Cup. Guys, I love to say it. I was correct. We took our final predictions last Monday, and I love to say that I was the only one that said Argentina and Spain would be in the final and that Spain would win. I don't think I said it on the show that they would win 1-0, but I did announce that to my family, and they did win 1-0. So it feels fantastic to be correct. But yeah, Spain are the World Cup champions for the second time in history. The stage was set for the biggest World Cup finals ever, with 48 teams down to 2. The final yesterday was the future versus the legend, Yamal versus Messi. The same 5-month-old who posed in the iconic UNICEF photo with 20-year-old Messi was now lining up against him with the World Cup on the line. Trey, I want to ask you first, is Lamine Yamal the new GOAT? I mean, we've seen some legends, they're retiring. He's one of the youngest to win the World Cup. He turned 19 last Monday. Is he going to be the new GOAT? Not even the new Messi, but the new Yamal.
I mean, he's, like, without a debate, one of the top 5 players in the world right now, and he is only 19. So assuming his development continues and he just continues to grow as a player, he will be the best player in the world, you could say, within the next year. And again, being only 19 years old, he could play for conceivably another 20 years and at that sort of high level. And I mean, obviously, what Messi and to a greater, or not greater, to a lesser extent, Ronaldo have done over the last 20 years have been electric to watch and very exciting as soccer fans. There is a world where Yamal could overtake them. I mean, with the production he's had playing professional soccer since he was about 15 years old.
Yes. He's won just about every tournament so far, too. He won the Euro Cup, the last Euro Cup. He's won multiple league cups. He's like the third youngest player to win the World Cup. He was younger than Ronaldo and Messi. And just the way watching him play, I feel like there's things that he does as a soccer player that like any average soccer or any not soccer fan person watching the games wouldn't necessarily catch it. But his ball control, his feet, the way he controls the ball so well, I've never seen anyone play like him. And my family and I were talking about that he is going to be unbelievable to watch in the coming years. And it was awesome watching him throughout the whole World Cup. And now Spain's this Spain team alone, they have won, 38 straight games? They haven't lost in 38 games. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it was, 37 unbeaten. I think it was something like 28 wins, the rest were ties or something like that, like crazy before the match. And then, like you said, that continues. So,
yeah. And Emi Martinez was just about the only life for Argentina. They were outshot 20-2. Their passes were, at one point they showed it up on the screen. It was in extra time. Spain had 750 completed passes to Argentina's 350. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The game ended at 1-0 because Spain dominated them. Their possession was crazy throughout the whole game. And Emi Martinez, 11 saves. He broke the World Cup record. I mean, he was the only reason why that game didn't end 11-0.
I mean, it was crazy just watching him. It seemed like every single time Spain shot the ball, it just happened to be straight at the keeper. And I don't know if that's his goalkeeping IQ on positioning or if that's Spain being unlucky. But regardless, Martinez put on a heck of a show. And it's just
But even, a lot of them did go right to him. But even when Yamal took that free kick and it was beautiful in the corner, that absolutely should have been a goal. And Martinez saved it. He had some insane saves. And
100%.
That one, that Torres shot, he couldn't get up again and get ready. But that was his non-dominant foot. He kicked it in with his left foot. That was fantastic. It was very well deserved for sure.
Yeah, like it's just I feel like a lot of Argentina's game plan is to feed the ball to Messi. And so like people will say that Messi didn't have that good of a game, but I mean his team failed him in giving him the ball. Like he is primarily an offensive player. He's not gonna go get the ball from Spain. Like the team needs to give it to him. And Argentina, like you said, Spain was just dominating the entire game, dominating possession, passing backwards, keeping the ball away, essentially. Like even if they weren't trying to score, their defense was still very much in possession of the ball. Like it was crazy to see just them smother Messi like that.
Yeah, Argentina had zero shots on goal. I think it was like they shot 20-2, but shots on goal was zero.
Well, and I don't think they
So
got their first one until like, was it in extra time or it might have been like
Yeah, yeah.
in
Yeah,
the
it was
80th
definitely
minute? It
yeah,
was
90
they
absurd.
minutes.
Like
had a
they had
couple
zero.
chances. Yeah, they totally had a couple chances in extra time. I thought like, all right, once it was 1-0 Spain, like the momentum just shifts completely. Spain's not at like they're playing a little more relaxed naturally because they're not eager to score anymore. They're just kind of playing it safe and they're playing keep away almost. But Argentina totally I mean, they're two shots, not shots on goal, but we're in extra time, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, you go 90 minutes with zero shots as the number one ranked team in the world. Like that's crazy. And I understand that, Enzo Fernandez gets his second yellow of the match, he gets sent off, and now you're playing down a man. But it's still like once he got sent, like they were playing very conservatively before, I guess not conservatively, but aggressive on defense. They were really not trying to score Argentina, it looks like that, in the first 70 minutes of the match. And the second they go down a man, they're just playing like as my mom, who's a casual soccer fan, was watching, and
Mm.
she was like, "It seems to me that they don't want to play soccer. Like they were just trying to extend the game into extra time and then to PKs." Because, I mean, I think it's a common belief amongst everyone that if the game went to PKs, Argentina would have won, and because they just have more skilled players in that aspect. But
And it just gets
it's
so lucky at that point. It really
yeah,
does. Like
exactly,
your
exactly,
your goalkeeper is making a 50-50 chance in the decision. They're not like you can't read the goal. Like you got to choose as a
yeah.
goalkeeper. Like that's yeah. So
And
I'm glad it
Argentina
didn't
just
come down to
yeah,
PKs because
100%.
yeah. But I know you really thought that France was going to win it all, and they didn't even win third. Which they had a crazy comeback. That game was very interesting to watch because I was like, wow, is England really just going to decimate them? It was 4-0 in the first half. And
yeah.
then Mbappe was just like, dude, absolutely not. I'm tired of this. Ended up losing 4-6, but I mean, that was crazy. What are your final thoughts on that game? Because that was the farthest England had ever gone in the World Cup. And France, I mean, they hadn't, they had gone to the final the past two times?
Yeah, they won in 2018 and they lost to Argentina in 2022. But I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna put a lot of stock into any sort of results of a third place game because at the end of the day, it is like a consolation prize. And like the coaches before the match were talking about how like this is not their goal. Like obviously, there's more pride in coming in third than fourth, but I mean, it's not like the players were necessarily happy to be third place. Like a 6-4 win is not like if this was a semifinals matchup or even a final matchup, that is not the result that would have happened. You could like I can guarantee players are playing less aggressively on defense. There's no point in trying to get hurt a month before the club season starts. And while it was an entertaining game to watch, especially for those soccer fans or American sports fans who wish soccer had more offense, that was the game they were waiting for. But I'm not going to call that like a competitive game to put any sort of like actual thoughts or reasoning behind.
I think, like looking at it from a broader perspective, I think the semifinal or the third place game is what a lot of American fans and general new to soccer people like wish the final would have been, which I know that actual soccer people kind of know that that was never going to be a reality. But I think overall it was a huge success just hosting the World Cup. I think it got a lot of Americans, whether they were LARPing or not, like into soccer. Um, I think the one aspect of that was that the final was just a little bit disappointing. Like, I mean, you mentioned the Messi thing. It's like people,
Everyone's saying that, but
well,
it's
because like from a like the entire, and we talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago about how the World Cup, it was awesome because the best players were like playing like the best players. Like when you look at the Golden Boot rankings. It's like there's Messi, there's Mbappe, there's Dembele, there's Haaland. It's like everyone knows those guys. Like those are the people that people are watching the games for, and they're showing up. So in some aspect, I think a lot of people are watching. How many people, average soccer fans, like watch Argentina not for Messi? They're watching for Messi, and in that game, it's like it wasn't his fault. He just didn't do anything. So I wouldn't say it was like a failure, but for the average soccer fan, I could see how it could be definitely boring, especially compared to the last final. The last World Cup final was unreal, and that was definitely not on the same level.
Well, anticlimactic is what you're saying. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely, if you're unable to appreciate the Spanish tiki-taka defense tactics against smothering Argentina's like pressing and stuff like that, I would 100% agree. And like the comparison to 2022 World Cup final is, yeah, like couldn't be two different games.
Extra time was really entertaining. I admittedly didn't watch a whole lot until then, but it was 0-0. Argentina had 10 men, and they still, had a couple of really good chances at the end that could have tied it up. And, as y'all were saying, PKs is kind of a crapshoot. So, you never know what happens after that. I think I got my prediction entirely incorrect from what I remember. I think I said France and England in the final.
Yeah.
France would
So
win.
did
And they
Henson, though.
win.
And Henson knows way more than me in the soccer
And
world,
they
so I felt very proud.
Yeah, France didn't even win their third place game where I said the two would match up. So shows what I know. But, there was still an entertaining, final 30 minutes.
Totally. I'm going to miss the World Cup. Like, it being hosted in North America, why are you shaking your head, Cole? You don't have, you weren't forced to watch it. That's fine.
I think thank God it's over. I mean, I think it was a cool event to have in the US, but it's the countdown to real football is officially underway now with this.
You're talking about
Okay,
MLS?
that's a completely different category. This is
we just have
the entire world.
I'm just saying, like,
this is the World Cup. The revenue that it brings and everything is not even doesn't even like football is a fart in the wind compared to the World Cup. I'm sorry, like it is, but
that game just reminded me, like, the Super Bowl was pretty mid this year, but like 3 hours of pregame coverage. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with saying like the final of the Super Bowl and the World Cup final, especially this year, were mid, but like the entire the world stopped yesterday for that game, which I don't understand. Like it was 120
minutes. And the world
minutes
doesn't stop for the Super Bowl?
The world doesn't stop for the Super Bowl.
Okay, it's cool that the world stops for the World Cup final. Like that is, it's
like 2 billion viewers.
Yeah,
yes, I agree, but that you can't sit here and say that was a super entertaining game for what it was built up to be.
I thought. Okay, well, no one was saying it was going to end up being a 4-6 game like the third place game. Well, I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a 1-0 game. Not that I came on the record or saying, "Oh, I'm right," which I did say Spain was going to win, so I was right. But as just saying that a game was anticlimactic and boring just because it was 1-0, I think is if I'm not a huge soccer fan, but if I'm watching if I'm watching the World Series and Game 7 comes down to it's 0-0 and they walk it off and it's 1-0 and it's crazy. That's still a good game because the defensive plays must have been amazing. The pitching must have been amazing. Like Spain dominated Argentina on the pitch. That is for sure. But I don't think that was still a good game to watch. It's just because of the stakes it was. I never thought it was a boring watch or I was disappointed watching it. And I feel like I've heard so many people say that and I don't understand. But I am going to miss the World Cup in the final.
Obviously, I think extra time was super entertaining. I sit here and say that. I just think also once the red card came out, like I was looking at the odds. I think Spain was like minus 300 in extra time. Like it just when that happens, playing a man down. I mean, it's just similar to imagine if like Stanley Cup final Game 7, it goes to overtime, and one of the teams is on a power play the whole time. Like it's
you're expected to win.
Yeah, exactly. That's just like the comparison I had. But
that's
I think
fair.
the first 45 minutes, the first half, and up until I think the red card, it wasn't. I mean, when the best, like Trey said, the best team in the world didn't have a shot on goal, which I don't even know how I don't even know that's physically possible. I know Spain has great defense, but like in like the biggest game of most of those guys' lives, I know they just won it 4 years ago, but you don't even put a shot on goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you said So what did you say? You compared the Super Bowl to the World Cup. Drake put like $1.5 million on the Super Bowl, lost. He put 1.5 on Argentina, lost. Like he's 0 for 2 right now. That sucks. That sucks.
Well, he's 0 for everything. It's a literal curse.
Yeah.
It's like the whole point.
I'm pretty sure he bet on one of the World Series. I'm pretty sure he put a bet on one of the World Series games too.
He's a Blue Jays fan.
Well.
I was going to say he probably put a.
Oh yeah, he did.
On the Blue Jays, yeah.
Of course, yeah. But I want to get halftime thoughts because I was extremely excited to see Justin Bieber. I've been a believer since day 0. And I'm not going to say I'm disappointed because I do love the song. Yeah, I was a fan out of the womb. I was listening to My World out of the womb. But I'm not going to say I'm disappointed because I love the song Everything Hallelujah. I just think to keep up with the other vibes, he should have played All Around the World. That's an upbeat song, including everything. Shakira was awesome. And Madonna was all right. But I wanted more from Justin Bieber. And Trey, I know you will and you DM me at the same time. Like, get this guy with a guitar off my stage.
Well,
he was mad.
I'm not a Justin Bieber hater, but I mean, I understand that. I mean, obviously Coachella just happened, but since before like the last couple months, he's been kind of out of the public eye. And so to go to Coachella and then the World Cup, I'm expecting some sort of like big return. And Coachella was obviously for some people underwhelming. I'm not necessarily of that opinion, but you go from sitting on stage showing YouTube videos to everybody, and then now you're not headlining, but you're at the one of the biggest artists on the halftime show at the biggest sporting event in the world, the final of the World Cup at New York, New Jersey Stadium, and you just Ted Lasso introduces you as you walk out onto the field with an acoustic guitar. And again, like I'm not a Bieber hater, like I'm not one of the guys who think he shouldn't have been there, but I do think he could have done a better job of, like you said, matching the vibe of the rest of the songs. Like it's not
one song. I was like, oh, this is his opener. He's gonna like, beat's gonna drop and he's gonna go crazy. And then I was like, oh,
yeah,
World Cup, hallelujah. That's it. But yeah, the next World Cup is across 6 continents, and the main hosts are going to be Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So that will be cool to see Spain as a host after winning this World Cup. But yeah, I'm sad the World Cup's over. Everyone's leaving America. That was really cool to see that for a few months. And next year, or not next year, in the next World Cup in 4 years, it might be expanded even more. So that would be really, really cool.
Breaking news, Ward Manuel is out as Michigan's AD at the end of this year after a culture review found serious concerns.
After a what review found serious concerns?
A culture review. So it was probably, Sharon Moore related.
Yeah, is that shocking?
Well, actually that and who's the basketball coach that got fired? Was that
he didn't get fired.
He just got hired by the Dallas.
No, not Dusty May, the guy before him. Like former NBA player.
I don't know.
Juwan Howard?
Yeah, him.
Did he get fired?
I thought he did. Am I crazy?
Well, speaking of people that are fired, Tom Herman came in to be, I guess, just a supporting role with Mike Norvell. He's not really going to be taking over any coordinating roles, but I guess his job is to just, assist on the offense and defense and probably with recruiting. And Mike Norvell said in the kickoff conference that he was going to be like a strategy guy. Honestly, I think he's totally just backup head coach and that he's breathing down Norvell's neck right now. You don't think so?
No chance. There's no way.
I think he was his history as a head coach, horrible, but you're at rock bottom. The only way you can go, I don't think hiring him is going to go even worse. His head coaching history is bad, but he did win a national championship in 2014 as the OC. And if he's going to be helping with strategy and whatever, I'm not complaining.
No, that aspect I agree with, but the fact that he would be the replacement for Norvell, I think is ridiculous.
Have Mike Norvell?
Yeah.
Cole? You rather have Norvell?
That's not. I agree. I don't think that's what we're saying. Like
I
I
also,
understand.
yeah,
Like
what?
I understand what you're saying, but they're not bringing Tom Herman in to be the next slotted interim head coach. Like if Mike Norvell gets fired in the middle of the season, it's much more likely to go to Tony White
I
than
agree.
Tom Herman. Like that's
Then
not what they're hiring him for. Like there's been reports that Tom Herman has been floating around the program since spring practice started, just kind of hanging around, meeting the coaches and stuff, seeing what the program's all about. Like they're not bring like Mike Norvell's not bringing him in to be his replacement, and I know
well,
that's not how we think he's thinking. But
did Norvell bring him in though?
I would
No,
say
he's
yes,
Ye-
Mike Norvell
I know,
probably
I would
brought him.
agree.
Like
I think he did.
they coached against each other when Mike Norvell was at Memphis and Herman was at Houston. So like they have a friendship. It's not like this is a Michael Alford decision just bringing him in out of nowhere. Like Norvell definitely has a say in this decision. Still his staff at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I feel like our football program, like you're gonna want any sort of fresh set of eyes. Like if you're not gonna replace the head coach, then bringing in someone who has a lot of head coaching experience and, like you said, won the national championship in 2014. It's just having like a professional on the staff who has results. Like that's gonna be a
but
good move.
Why would Herman? I guess he was fired.
Yeah,
His
because what
last
is he
head
going to
coaching job, he
do?
was
Like,
fired. But my point is, why would he want to take a job as a floater for the program? And I feel like he would know that Mike Norvell is on thin ice, that he would step in as head coach, or even maybe take over. Tony White would be head coach and he would take over. But he's not just gonna. I don't think he's accepting this job just to assist and help a little bit. Like there has to be a plan that he knows that he's like stepping in somewhere bigger. He's not just going to be a floater and help out. I don't think that he would take the job knowing that he's just going to be a little helper.
He was fired. He has not been known as like a good head coach lately. So, I mean, it's if he wants to stay in like Power Four football, I feel like this is one of his only options, unless he wants to go like coach his son's high school team. Like,
Okay,
I don't
well,
know.
that's all right. Well, that I agree with 100%. But we've all talked about how the stakes of Mike Norvell and what will actually have to happen for him to be fired. So then, if you, Cole, I want to ask you this because you said that he should be on the shortest possible leash. And I don't remember the exact record you gave because we all gave like final records of when Mike Norvell should be fired. But like, what's the plan for Herman then? Like, how will actually hiring him play out?
I just think like I think we're forgetting that these guys football coaches live and breathe football. They just want to be around the sport of football. I do not think he has an ulterior motive coming to Florida State. Like Brian Kelly just went to Memphis to help out with recruiting for a few weeks during the summer. Like I don't think Brian Kelly's sitting there floating around Memphis saying, "Oh, maybe I'm going to get the job. Maybe I'm taking this shot." Like I don't think that's what Tom Herman's all about. I also like to compare it to like I know Gus Malzahn left a head coaching job to kind of take a step back as offensive coordinator last season, but you have a guy that was much more proven than Gus Malzahn, as Norvell's right hand man, probably with a bigger say than Tom Herman is going to have. And this wasn't the conversation last season. I know it's more of a conversation coming into this year because we have all said that Mike Norvell is on a short leash, but I really doubt that if they do, and possibly when they do fire Norvell, that they're just going to throw Tom Herman into this role, especially when he's not going to really get to know the players. He's, I think, mainly helping out on the coaching side of things, but you're not going to promote someone to be the head football coach of your team if he's not working with the players every day. And I just don't think this is the type of role that he's going to have. I don't mind it. I don't mind the move. I talked
Well,
about
then
it
what do
on
you
the
think
show
he's going to
last
do?
week.
They said he's going to be like the strategy guy, like make like
That's all behind the scenes. Like he's probably going to be sitting in the coach's box or in upstairs for the games and stuff.
situational downs. They said situational downs.
I just don't think I don't. He's not going to be calling plays, and he's not going to be sideline. He's not going to be on the sideline. So I think he's going to help mostly in preparation. And I don't mind bringing a very proven guy. Like he's not very proven, but he has a ton of experience. He's seen it all. He's been in the game for a while. Why not bring a guy like that in when your program's in a free fall?
Oh, I'm not complaining about him whatsoever. I just was wondering what the move is if he was going to take
Yeah.
over head coach. I'm saying yeah, why not bring him in? We're already at rock bottom, and he has national championship experience, over 10 years ago, and he wasn't the head coach, but still, like, I'm not complaining about it whatsoever. I'm just kind of wondering, he's given an untitled role. So
I also just think like I think it's less likely that they fire Norvell and promote Tom Herman in the middle of the season. I am of the belief that I don't believe they're going to fire
they'll
Norvell
just keep
in
Norvell
season.
for the season.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think that would almost be viewed as like a lateral move, promoting a guy that has been a head coach before. Not a lateral move, but I just think that's a strange move to perform in season. Like it sends a message to the rest of college football. Like, what is Florida State doing? They fire Norvell and promote. Like at this point, Mike Norvell is a better head coach than Tom Herman, so it would make no sense to fire Norvell midseason then throw Tom Herman in there.
I also think fans, the program already knows that fans like are upset and don't necessarily think they take themselves seriously enough. If the guy that you hire, even temporarily to replace Mike Norvell, just got fired at FAU, like you're not taking it seriously. I don't know.
I just feel like too, if Mike Norvell gets fired in the middle of the season, theoretically, if Tom Herman gets promoted to the interim role, like he's not like obviously he's not the better coach than Mike, but that's not the point of him being the interim coach for the remainder of the season. The point would be you're going to use that time to find someone who's better than Mike that's not Tom Herman. And I don't know, maybe he could revert back to being the strategy role or whatever the heck he's doing around here. But, you got to think about too, he has a lot of experience leading dysfunctional programs, and, Florida State is one of those right now. So
I definitely feel like 3%, maybe like 5% better about the program than I did in the beginning of the summer, especially after Deuce Robinson had such high praise on Ashton Daniels. I know I kind of dogged him for a bit, but Deuce Robinson was saying like their chemistry was insane and that he's someone who has a great arm and can run. And I didn't know that. I was assuming that he would play the passing game because I didn't think he would run like Tommy whatsoever. But Deuce said that he is a total dual threat guy and that they established chemistry like almost immediately in spring. Like that makes me feel so much better. One of the best receivers in the country is feeling confidence and a lot of chemistry with with FSU's mid QB1. So Cole, any updated thoughts on Ashton Daniels?
I feel 20 times more confident than I felt before media day. I mean, between what Norvell said was very positive on his end, and just between what Ashton Daniels and Deuce Robinson were saying about each other and the program, like Deuce was saying good stuff about Ashton Daniels on the field, but he was saying even better stuff about him off the field, which I think is awesome. It's good to have a good leader that's not only a leader in the locker room, but also on campus and in the locker room. Norvell, I liked what he said. A lot of people were hating on the comments about him not feeling nervous about his job. I really like the message between all three players and Norvell that it's not really about what you say anymore. It's about the product you put on the field, which I think is obviously the elephant in the room because Norvell is the king of making empty comments and empty press conferences, but he actually seemed to mean what he said last week. And Norvell has been very good on the recruiting trail as of the last week. The recruiting class this season is probably FSU's worst in a very long time. But the last week they've gotten two studs at the defensive back position. So I think it's good vibes as of right now in the Florida State program. I really liked what I heard out of media day. It gives me a lot more confidence in Ashton. And also I just want to say that I was of the belief, like I was a very big hater at the time when they named Ashton Daniels starter so early into the spring. Like it didn't make any sense to me that they didn't want it to be a competition, but it makes so much sense now. Like you want to give the most experienced guy the most experience possible, the most reps possible before the season starts.
This is his last shot, and he's going to play like it. This is literally his one. Like they could have given it to Sperry, but he's also still there. He's not going anywhere. I definitely have a lot more confidence in Daniels, but I can't tell if I like or dislike what Norvell was saying about the elephant in the room. Cause it's like, yeah, he is right. You can say all you want. He was like, I can sit up here and say a bunch of things, but I'll just show you on the field. Well, it's like, maybe if you tell us a little something, we'll feel better. Like,
well, right.
Maybe give us a little something. Like
the question that the reporter asked him was like basically that. He's like, "You guys have sucked the last 2 years. Like, what do you say?" And that's like his whole. I mean, what does
and he's
he
like,
say?
"But I'm not gonna say anything."
Well, right. Well, because the point was, I think what Cole mentioned is like if you watch his speech, and a lot of people like dogged him for his like I guess his open main media press conference at media days last year. Like he was like coach preaching, like he was like yelling at people, which is kind of just what Mike Norvell is. But it's like you could tell that this year at media days he was much like he knows what's happening, and that's why like I see a lot of people. I know Will was like clowning him for like the I don't fear failure, I fear regret. First of all, I think that's tough. I love that. Like because he's very conscious of what's happening. He knows that people are gonna dog on him no matter what he says, because what can he say? And I think that's what, to play devil's advocate for a second, what like when Deuce and Ashton Daniels and they're talking about like they kind of always say that. Like if you go back and watch Tommy last year and I don't know, whoever Patrick Payton and whoever the people were the year before, like there's always
a lot of it.
like,
a lot of it are very media-esque
responses,
of course, right. But they don't have to say that they have chemistry with each other, and that's their chemistry equates to the success on the field. So right. They don't have to say that about each other, but they're always gonna. I agree. They're always gonna say the program's good, but
I mean, that being said, I believe it. I believe it more than in the past because I really do think that one of the things that I would take away from Media Day, especially, is I think the leadership position that your team is in terms of the players that are leading, I think you're in a much better spot than you were last year. I'm not a big Tommy hater, but I just don't think he's the greatest guy to have on your team when you're already struggling with kind of ups and downs and responding to adversity and all those things. I think having Deuce as the main voice is a much better voice for the locker room. I also just think Ashton Daniels is like, you're not expecting a lot from him. You were asking Tommy to do too much last year. You needed him to do too much. I think the point with the offense this year is that Ashton Daniels just needs to be good enough. Can he just he doesn't have to be spectacular. He just has to do the little things good enough to where, because the rest of the offense is pretty low. I mean, you already have Deuce Robinson and you're happy with the rest of the wide receiver room and the running back room. You just need him to be good enough. And I think based on everything that we heard, he should be moving in that direction.
We got to mention that Jabril Rawls is going to be an absolute stud this season. We didn't even mention him as the third guy. And I was scrolling on Twitter and like everyone's laughing. It's like, aside from Deuce Robinson, like Ashton Daniels and Jabril Rawls are the guys like FSU is sending to media day. Like you look at, like, I know you can't compare it to like Miami, but the guys like Miami and even like Pitt were sending compared to like Ashton Daniels and Jabril Rawls. But Jabril Rawls can be a baller on defense this season. Like even Norvell was super confident in him in his presser. So I just wanted to give him a little credit because we were all on Deuce, all on Ashton Daniels, but he was also there. Don't forget.
Definitely. Well, we will see how this plays out in August. We will be looking forward. I just really, really want them to win the first week. It should happen for sure. That'll boost me even more. All right. The second half of the 2026 MLB season is underway after the All-Star break. Jordan Walker made history as the first Cardinal to win the Home Run Derby, and the American League continued its dominance with its 8th All-Star Game win in the past decade. Feels like opening day was yesterday, but now the playoff push is on, and October baseball is right around the corner. The draft was last week, and we saw some FSU players end their time in Tallahassee. And not all of them have signed yet, but quite a few have signed. And I just kind of wanted to list those out. Bryson Moore was, I'm pretty sure, the first to sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates, $317,000. Trey Beard, Miami Marlins. Cole, get ready. $496,000. He'll be awesome with you guys. I'm actually excited that he's staying in Florida. Miles Bailey, I'm very sad about this one. The Cubs made sure that he was not returning to Tallahassee. They gave him a $780K overslot at 1.9 mil. So they really wanted to secure him. So yeah, he's not coming back to Tallahassee. That is definite. And I was incorrect. Brody Purcell, he signed with the Cincinnati Reds for $150K, and Braden Dowd signed with the Diamondbacks $775K. definitely excited to see all these players, especially Bryson Moore. Hopefully I'll see him with the Marauders probably immediately if he's already signed. So that would be very cool. But Andrew, I want to start with you because your Brewers are scalding hot. And we've talked about the smaller market teams. Cole and I have had some pops with our teams. And, both of our teams just got swept, but the Brewers just swept. And they've been so hot, so good. We got to give them some love. So please.
I mean, I don't really know. It's weird being a fan of this team for like the last, I don't know, like 9 or 10 years now. Has been kind of a crazy run where every year, because they're a small market, you feel like you lose something. I remember it was the offseason where they lost Corbin Burns, and it's like, oh, well, how are we going to bounce back? And then they lose Freddie Peralta, and it's like, how are you going to bounce back? And every year, it not only do you bounce back and find ways to win, like, we're getting better. I mean, this is crazy. At this point, we're one game back of the best record in baseball of a team that's spending hundreds of millions of dollars more. It's just fun. I don't really know what else to say. And I think around Major League Baseball is fun. I mean, you mentioned the Brewers or the Rays and I mean, look, sorry about the Marlins, but like they're having
they're doing good.
Right. So I just think
they're dead. They're dead in the water.
You think so?
Cole.
They are dead.
Cole makes me, when you say things like when you're like, they're laughable, like that, that makes me laugh. You hate on your team so much. They're fine. They're doing fine. They're still like a very strong wild card contender.
Well, the NL East is pretty open still.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Why are you so mad?
Hey.
I'm not even mad about the Rays. The Rays just got their 4-game series against the Red Sox. They got swept. Every lead they had, they blew. And I'm still not mad at them.
14 games over 500.
Yeah, they're the best team in the American League.
The Marlins just went from 11 games over to 4 in a week and a half. This is the longest losing streak in 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And Pete Fairbanks continues to be the worst free agent signing in Marlins history. And it's disgusting. I don't know if you saw the pitch he threw Wilson Contreras yesterday, but
I did.
I laughed. I audibly laughed when he threw that pitch. Like, I wasn't mad. I didn't throw anything. I laughed because it's laughable.
I didn't throw anything.
No, the team, and honestly, the worst part. Sorry to take away from the Brewers. I want to throw it back to Andrew because they played the Marlins right. They played small ball. They got the big hits when they needed it. They were running all over Joe Mack, who has been one of the best defensive catchers since being called up. But the Marlins were leading in every single game of that series. We were up 1-0 in the first game, 3-0 in the second game, 1-0 yesterday. Pitching gems from all 3 of our starters. And you got off not facing Mizorowski and you get swept. I don't understand it. Coming out of the All-Star break.
Same thing with the Rays. They get shut out 10-0 their first game after the All-Star break. And it's not like Griffin Jax had a decent start. I don't love him as a starter, but he struck out 6 through 5. Like, he had a decent start. And the Rays only struck out 4 times. They just it was bad luck, and the Red Sox were just hot. And then they had a lead the rest of the series. And Shane McClanahan pitched yesterday. He did not do well. But it wasn't their performances weren't horrible. They just had super cold bats. And like Junior Caminero was like maybe 4 for 9 in the series, 4 for 10. He had probably had more at bats than that. But everyone else was cold. Johnny DeLuca, who's like, you might say, who is Johnny DeLuca? He was the only one hot. He had his like 3rd home run of the season, which was like, anyways. I'm not super concerned about the Rays. They also have a really good stretch coming up. They're going to Toronto, and then they come back to Tampa and they play the Guardians. And who else? They have a good stretch coming up where they should bounce back and be fine. I'm not saying that they're still leading the division. Are they still leading the league? I imagine, yeah. Right? Yeah, because the Yankees were 2nd in the league. Yeah, they're still leading the league in the division. I just really don't want them to have a crappy second half like they did last year and, ruin their chances of the playoffs. They were not looking how they did whatsoever at this time of year last season, but still they did so horrible last July. I have a little bit of PTSD. So yeah, but Trey was real quiet because like during the Rays being swept, and I was wondering to myself, every loss that the Rays took, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna get a text from Trey. He's gonna say something. And I was like, oh, wow. He did not say anything. And it was because the Yankees also have been losing. So, and they were swept, no?
The Yankees, we swept the Nationals going into the break, and then
no, after the break.
Yeah, no, we
won last night.
Yeah, we won last night.
Oh, you're right. You beat the Dodgers, but I don't know why I thought you guys were swept. Okay.
I mean, we scored 2 runs yesterday and won, which has not been the theme. I was looking at my notes, and it's just basically the Yankees. Our offense has been putrid. I mean, Aaron Judge has not played since May 31st. Giancarlo Stanton, as far as I know, is in the bottom of the Hudson River. I haven't seen him ever. And it's just our pitching has been relative. I mean, we have the best bullpen ERA in baseball. Cam Schlittler is the leading Cy Young favorite for the American League. Our pitching has been carrying us hard. And so Cam Schlittler has, it seems like every 4 starts, he's like due for a stinker. And that stinker being against the Dodgers in game 1 of a doubleheader, like reschedule, throw off your rhythm. Like, I understand you give up 6 hits in 4 1/3, 3 earned runs. Not necessarily what you're expecting out of an AL Cy Young candidate, but I'm not going to like hold him to that because, like I said, he's been nails for the last 3-4 starts, gives up 4 earned runs in 5 innings, which again, like I feel like a Major League Ball club, if you give up 4 runs, there is still plenty of worlds where you win that game. Like, giving up 4 runs over 6 innings is not crazy. And so I feel like Jazz Chisholm going with we were talking about this before the show, eighth inning go ahead home run last night in a tie game. Oppo, not what I expect out of Jazz Chisholm with his lefty swing at Yankee Stadium, but just very exciting to see. But that's just kind of how the Yankees have been playing ball. Like, we have not really strung together. Like, we don't have guys who can get on base to play small ball. Like, I know it's a huge criticism of the Yankee strategy that
you guys play big ball, homer ball, and that's it.
Yeah, but we have to, because like I can't trust like Austin Wells to get on base. So for someone else,
that's fair, but also like, yeah, but you're saying you want that? Like I'm not trying to compare. Our teams win very differently, and I almost prefer the way my team wins. I'm not just saying that because you're the Yankees, but we have pure hitters. These guys get on base. Like, you have the junior Caminero, but he's probably the only one in the lineup consistently who hits home runs. Like, well, actually, I lied. Mesa Jr. has been going yard, but it's you're getting on base and you're producing, not just. I don't know. I think playing the homer game is not as it runs. Your luck runs out with that. It does,
and it's not entertaining. Like, I enjoy bunt single, infield single, working a walk, stuff like that. Like, that's very exciting. Like, building tension, getting guys on base, and then you have your power hitter come up. Like, yeah, that's electric. But my issue is that, like, I saw an Instagram comment the other day that honestly just really summarizes the Yankees lineup right now, which is that Ryan McMahon would be the perfect 9-hole hitter if we didn't have 3 9-hole hitters. Like, Austin Wells, his OPS is like below 500, and he's still like, he's our best option at catcher, which is like, we traded all of our catching depth away because Austin Wells had such a good rookie season, and we don't have anyone in the minors coming up. Like this trade deadline.
Do you guys see Will Smith's out for the season?
I did not. What?
Will Smith's out for the season.
Okay, because I heard Dalton Rushing to Yankees, like, rumors or something, which would be, I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of Dalton Rushing, but having anyone other than Austin Wells on my like roster,
he's the worst.
Yeah, he is, but he's a better baseball player than Austin Wells. So
that's fair. Like, I'm worried about the Red Sox, Trey. I gotta. Not that they're still 6 games back from the Rays or the Yankees. They're 6 games back from the Rays, I think, but. They're on a 13-game winning streak, and they're doing it without Roman Anthony or Marcelo Mayer. I'm slightly worried that it very much could be that, like, the Rays and the Yankees have a bit of a cold streak, and then the Red Sox like stay in contention for, second place or something. They were like 10 games or like they were over 10 games back consistently throughout the first half. And now they're 6 games back and they're looking really hot. That is the biggest sneaky wild card contender team. Probably the Marlins as well if they go on a hot streak. You don't think so?
Non-believer.
I think you're
a non-believer in your own team.
I also just want to give a shout out. Garrett Mitchell. I was not familiar with his game.
He's a star.
He is unbelievable in center field. I mean,
on the contrary, our Garrett is the worst. Garrett Clevenger, get him out of the bullpen forever. I'm sorry, I usually never say that, but
I was going to say I don't think I've ever heard Gia beat
the Marlins will take him. Bring him the Marlins. They'll take another bad reliever from Tampa Bay. They don't have enough of them.
Every time he walks out, I'm like, no. Same with Cole Sulser, but more so Garrett Clevenger. And he was our guy last year. Anyways, yeah.
Imagine having that reaction to a guy that you paid $13 million in the offseason for.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't remember what the Rays were paying him, but it was more than that, I think.
Well, Pete Fairbanks wasn't awful.
I was going to say, he was pretty good.
There's a Marlins account that does a sketch following every game. And yesterday's was a picture of Pete Fairbanks drawn as Osama bin Laden. So that tells you all you need to know about how Marlins fans feel about him.
Pete Fairbanks is a terrorist? Okay. I'm titling this episode that. I'm not actually, but
that would be great, actually.
You get every Marlins fan to listen if you did title it like that, because
post that on Twitter and it's getting all of Miami.
We can't talk about the Pirates? Are you kidding me?
Oh.
Yeah, sneaky wild card.
I'm sorry, Matty Ice.
They're the best team in baseball in terms of getting hits. Have the best
batting average. Last week they had the best batting average. Do they still?
They still do.
Okay.
So they're second in runs, second in OBP, third in slugging, and second in OPS. And they've already hit like 12 more home runs than they did last year. And they're winning right now without O'Neal Cruz or Connor Griffin. And the bullpen is horrific. Maybe not.
I was going to say, I feel like that's the only thing they're missing.
It's probably right up there with them. Like, we're probably the opposite of the Yankees right now, where our bullpen's terrible, but, we can hit. And
the National League is just, like, you guys are doing so well. You guys are winning 520, but you're 10.5 over 500, but you're, like, 10.5 games back, which is so weird, because you guys are playing very well. And
we'd have the second best run differential in the American League right now, which is crazy to me. And
yeah.
I read that
the American League still won the All-Star game, which I kind of expected.
They do every year.
I don't. They've won 8 out of the past 10.
Also, because the Pirates were the one team who had 0 players play in the All-Star game. So maybe that was.
You guys had a couple pitchers?
They didn't play. Like, they didn't
pitch at all?
I don't think so. Because I read that the Pirates were the only team.
Ashcraft did.
Any representation.
Oh.
Did he?
Wow.
I was reading it on Twitter. So.
I fell asleep.
Also,
we're such good baseball fans, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't watch. You fell asleep.
This is the best offense we've had since 1930. So it's been almost 100 years since the Pirates have had an
Honus
offense.
Wagner.
Yeah, exactly. With his, it was spelled without the H back then. So, that tells you how far we've come. But I'm actually excited about watching baseball. Like Saturday, I actually watched an entire baseball game. It was really fun.
Full 9?
Yeah. We went to ABC to get some things during the game, but I watched like 6 innings of it.
We're all over 21. It's okay, Matty Ice. Oh, Andrew's not yet. It's okay.
I'm not either. I'm 20.
Oh, neither is Trey.
I didn't specify what they sold there.
Anyways, The second half is always so much more interesting. I'm always so excited for October baseball, even though that means it's the end of baseball for the season. But yeah, we will see how the second half goes. Where is LeBron going, guys? The debate still goes on. Everyone's waiting. Adam Silver's even waiting. He said the league is waiting on LeBron to say something to finalize the schedule, even. I feel like we have to establish something that Will has to do while he's not here if LeBron goes to Miami. Because I've been thinking and saying that LeBron's gonna go to Miami. Will said he's favored now to go to Miami. I really do think that will happen. Not saying we're going to punish Will, but we got to have him do something.
I mean, I think punishing him would be funny. Like, have him run through college town wearing a LeBron James Heat jersey and nothing else. Like,
all right, that'll be it.
He can sign
boxers in a jersey.
Teague time.
But yeah, any updated predictions on that? I just want to touch on it one more time because there's no way that we can have another week go by without him announcing what he's doing. It's stretched out too long. There's just no. He's definitely already figured out where he's going. I think he's ending up in a big city with Giannis. That's where he's gonna end up. That is what I think.
I've heard that he's waiting on the aspiration ruling with Kawhi Leonard to wrap up because if Kawhi or Ballmer or the Clippers get in a huge amount of trouble, or if they don't get in a huge amount of trouble, then basically there's just a blueprint on salary cap circumvention. And I can imagine that LeBron, he wants to take. I've heard that money is not a factor for him or whatever like that, but if he can take a vet minimum to go to like a winnable team or have the Heat, assuming he goes to the Heat, have more cap space to sign guys, then they can just do some sort of Kawhi Leonard type salary cap circumvention. So, I mean, if he's still waiting like 2 weeks after that, or I'd say more than a month after that ruling is decided, then I'd be really confused. But it's really like I'm not expecting anything anytime soon until that court case is all.
I saw something that said it was going to be in the next 24 hours. Now I'm sure thousands of people have seen hundreds of other people tweet that it's going to be in the next 24 hours over the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. I agree with you. I feel like it has to be coming soon. There's just no way. I mean, when the commissioner of the league that you are playing in is waiting on your decision, which
to finalize the schedule for the next year,
ridiculous. Like it's not ridiculous, but
it's not. He's like trying to schedule games around the holidays and stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, well, hopefully he's going to Miami for the sake of our director. That would be awesome. I know he was already ecstatic about Giannis. I think he would do backflips, and I don't even know the level of joy that he would have. I just know that would be the best day of his life. When Giannis signed with Miami, that was probably up there with one of the best days in his life. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into some winners and losers. Trey, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, my winner of the week, Josh Kerr, set a new record for the mile, blew the 30-year-old record from 1999 out of the water, beat it by a whole second, which to non-runners doesn't sound like a lot, but like trust me, that's a big deal. Running a 3:46, I believe. Loser of the week, Donald Trump. Gianni Infantino was like dragging him off the stage, which is the exact same thing that happened last year at the Club World Cup. So it's a little funny to see history repeat itself. You think they would have had a better safeguard in place to prevent the same thing from happening. But I thought it was funny to just watch that live on TV.
Just like
in Spain, like shoving him off the stage.
Yeah.
Like,
Matty Ice, winner and loser of the week.
My winner, maybe for the first time ever, is the Pittsburgh Pirates because this season feels like a fever dream. Although I do remember, like, I think it was 2 years ago, they're in a pretty similar position where they're right in the mix for the wild card. And I was watching like every single game. I remember I went to Sweden for a week, and so all the games are at like 3 a.m. And then literally as soon as that happened, they went on a huge losing streak and we're out of the playoffs. And we may not even buy a bullpen arm because we're the Pirates and we're not allowed to add any salary if we do that. So see if they're having a really good season. And then my loser is Trey, only because the Pirates play the Yankees starting today. So I don't know. Maybe we'll actually beat them, but
I mean, if y'all
I think
can
it'll
hit,
actually
we
be pretty
can.
good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Andrew, winner and loser of the week.
Well, Cole stole my winner, which I feel like was pretty self-explanatory. But so I'll go with the Milwaukee Brewers, which I feel like is also fun. I mean, we talked about them earlier. That's just I'm having a blast. Not this last weekend was fun. And then my loser, it's hard to put anybody who won like over $1 million as a loser. But I have Sam Burns just because yet again in a major he was so close, and it's just I could say it could be difficult watching other people win over and over again when you're right there. But yeah, I mean he made $1 million. He can't be too much of a loser.
Cole, I really
Yeah,
like your loser of the week. So start with your loser, or maybe save your loser for the end.
I'll save that, but I mean, just shout out to Sam Burns real quick because he is so close. If he just would have shot even yesterday, he would have won. Like I just feel so bad for that guy. Um, just over and over, him and Cam Young can't get it done. Ryan Fox, my winner of the week, gets it done. I mean, probably the most relatable golfer on like to win a major as of late. He took 22 seconds from when who was he playing with? Sam Burns in the end. Sam Burns hits his putt. It takes Ryan Fox 22 seconds to hit his ball. He doesn't like the theatrics. A 12-foot putt on the 72nd hole of the weekend, the 18th green, to win the tournament. The third New Zealand golfer to win a major. Good for him. My loser. My least favorite golfer in the game, once again, is Bryson DeChambeau. What a baby. I mean, what Rory said about him is true. I'm excited to see what Scotty Scheffler has to say because they asked him and he said he doesn't have much to say. And then 20 seconds later, he's like, I do have a lot to say, but I'm going to refrain until I get my PR person to tell me what to say. But what a baby. I mean, DeChambeau, I do understand. For people who didn't watch, he finishes his round at 7 under, one shot off the lead. And after his round is concluded, is assessed a 2-stroke penalty for trying to fix his lie, unintentionally fixing his lie on hole 5 in the rough. Insane that they are assessed that for the 5th hole after the round is over. But post round, he is standing there with the rules official, which they're rules officials for a reason. This is their job, is to protect the rules of golf. And he is throwing a fit basically, and was telling the whole world that he wasn't going to play in the tournament when he was 2 shots off the lead. Ends up playing, finishes at 4 under, shoots a 1 under par on Saturday, and then a 72, a 2 over par on Sunday. Finishes all the way at tied for 14th. But I hate that guy. I mean, I honestly would have liked to see him withdraw because his brand, I mean, that would have been it for him if he would have withdrawn after that. And he missed the cut in all 3 other majors this year. So it doesn't really make sense to me why he would have withdrawn when he was that close to the lead. But just another instance where he's just a crybaby and makes it all about him. And go read what Rory said about him because it just rings insanely true. And that's probably what the entire golf world is thinking. So shout out Rory for speaking for the world of golf.
Yeah, Bryson continuing being a baby influencer. Go play live golf. That's my take. My winner and loser. My winner is Kane Yamal because he's so cute. He's 3. Yamal's younger brother. He's really cute, and yeah, he was very supportive and had insane energy throughout the whole World Cup. So he's my winner. Very cute. My loser is Publix. I usually love Publix so much, and they're usually my winner every week, every day. But I love banana flavoring, and I've been on a hunt for banana ice cream because usually anything banana flavored has that like fake false banana taste, which I don't love. But I love banana flavoring. I've been on a hunt for banana ice cream. Publix doesn't have it, but they do have pineapple banana, which infuriated me because how on earth would that be better than plain banana ice cream? How do you not make plain banana ice cream, but you make pineapple banana ice cream. I think that's disgusting. But anyways, that's it for tonight for Tomahawk Talk. We will be back here next Monday. Check out The Graveyard Shift wherever you get your podcasts. Follow B89 Sports on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Check out our website with all of our writing and photography. Have a great week. And as always, for my co-host, Cole Kruger, tonight's panelists, Matty Ice, Andrew Witherspoon, and Trey Pope, I'm Gia Ciaccio. You've been listening to WVFS Tallahassee, the voice of Florida State.